Hello, check, check. Should we start? Okay. Good afternoon, all. We have the Honorable Minister for State Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, among us. I request all to welcome him with a huge round of applause. Sir, in spite of your very busy schedule, your presence here is a very big support for all of us. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary to Government of India, Department of Biotechnology, to welcome the Honorable Minister with a potted plant. Now I request Dr. Alka Sharma, Senior Advisor, DBT, to present a potted plant to Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale. I request Dr. Alka Sharma to present a potted plant to Dr. Arvind Sahu, Executive Director, RCB. Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. Kalevani Ganeshan, Program Officer, Biodesign, to welcome Dr. Alka Sharma with a potted plant. Thank you, ma'am. I request Dr. Alka Sharma to deliver welcome remarks and set the context for today's event.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Department of Biotechnology, I extend my warm welcome to the Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge, Ministry of Science and Technology, Minister of State, PMO, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pension, Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Space, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji. Sir, we are extremely grateful to you to take out time for us in spite of your very busy schedule. I also welcome the Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale. My warm welcome to my colleagues from DBT, i3C, including directors, RCB, and the participants who all have joined online, and my colleagues from the BRIC, and coordinators and fellows from Biodesign centers across the country, and steering committee members of National Biodesign Consortium. So as you know, today we have two important events together, that is launching of DBT handbook on biodesign and i3C BRIC-RCB Ph.D. program. So Biodesign program is a flagship program of Department of Biotechnology with the focus on providing training to aspiring medical technology innovators to identify, invent and implement the unmet clinical needs, and then also application into the patient through startup incorporations. DBT now has expanded these efforts and established 6 biodesign centers across the country, training over 20 leading medical schools and technical institutions. So Biodesign handbook to be launched over by in this function by our Honorable Minister, which will serve as a reference manual for the aspiring young biodesign graduates across the country. We will also witness the success of Biodesign program in terms of transfer of technologies developed by Biodesign fellows and graduation ceremony of these fellows. As you are aware, DBT has signed MOU in October last year in the presence of Honorable Minister for supporting international fellows to work in DBT Biodesign centers, and I am happy to share that a large number of applications were received from international fellows, and 4 have been selected, and now they all have joined the centers, Biodesign centers in the country. So today we also have a launch of i3C BRIC-RCB Ph.D. program, which is an initiative of Department of Biotechnology to initiate new PhD program in Biosciences at par with international standards. So this will have a common course curriculum for 6 months together, followed by immersion with a partnering agency. So a short video will also be played during the event. So with this, without taking much time, I once again welcome each one of you for today's event and thank you all for your participation in this important event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. I request Dr. Kalevani Ganeshan, Scientist F, Program Officer, Biodesign and DBT, to share the efforts of the Biodesign program and the DBT so far.
Good afternoon, namaskar everyone. I'll be making a brief presentation on the DBT Biodesign program. So we are constantly progressing and increasing the literacy trends in our country, but we are also adding to the number of unemployed graduates. And this program is to nurture the job creators. So biodesign is a global phenomenon, works everywhere and never fails because it begins by identifying a need, inventing a solution for that and implementing it. This program began in DBT in 2008 by late Dr. M.K. Ban, the then secretary, to ignite the medtech ecosystem in the country. So 4 models were piloted. First one was School of International Biodesign at AIIMS and IIT Delhi, following the Stanford model. Second one was at i3C IIT Madras, following the Harvard model. Third one at Indian Institute of Science, and fourth one at THSTI. All the centers are a collaboration between medical institutions, engineering institutions, and in some instances, science institutions. So the first center began as a fellowship program with training in Stanford. Today, they have attained self-sufficiency in training since 2014, and international fellows are coming to India to get this training. It made overall impact in terms of nurturing innovators and commercializing large number of products. And also the fellows, when we track the career path, more than 90% of them reside in the medtech ecosystem. So this is just a glimpse of the startups formed by the SAB fellows. And to say that they have international market outreach, not just in India. The second center was a Harvard model, where the established engineers and doctors collaborated to create the medtech products. Since they were experienced, they could easily develop high-end products, which could be deployed into public health easily, and they attracted huge industry funding. So they grew from 4,000 square feet space to 12,000 square feet in a short span of 3-4 years in the research park. Some of the products that deployed into public health through this program are the mobile eye surgical unit, eye examination device, newborn screening device, all with huge industry funding, and point-of-care blood immunoanalyzer. We have also given the number of instruments manufactured and the reach of these. The third was at Indian Institute of Science. Using the Biodesign product, they made a new PhD program, interdisciplinary PhD program, and over 50 students got this PhD degree in the center, and it attracted huge amounts of faculty from IIT to join the Indian Institute of Science. They had modest success with product development because it had an academic orientation. And with the success of this, they have got a new PhD, MD PhD program for MBBS students. The last center was at THSTI Faridabad, a science institution leading the effort and focusing on biodesign for clinical research translation for development of in vitro diagnostics. And this is the product pipeline and some of the products that have been commercialized for the Indian diseases. We all know we talk about startups frequently, but their success rate is also limited. And one of the main reasons is the lack of hypothesis validation. Here, the biodesign program becomes very important because it provides experiential learning into entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship cannot be taught, but it has to be experienced and learned. So these centers provide the framework for that. So with this purpose and impact, we wanted to scale up, and we have now scaled up. As was mentioned in the welcome remarks, we now have 6 centers twining more than 20 medical, engineering, and science institutions in the country. And recently, World Intellectual Property Organization signed MOU with DBT to sponsor international fellows to work in DBT Biodesign centers. So we consider this a huge recognition to the medtech ecosystem created in the country. We know we have to reach our best points. We are constantly striving for that. And we have constituted the National Biodesign Consortium. It's an interministerial consortium comprising of experts from CDSCO, BS, incubation centers, HTA, GEM, and also various clinicians. So they are constantly hand-holding and mentoring our innovators to reach greater heights. This is the gist of the journey of the Biodesign program. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. that as Dr. Kalyani just told, that the Department of Biotechnology has formulated a handbook on the biodesign for medtech innovations, and this handbook has been formulated with extensive consultation with the stakeholders. This handbook will serve as a reference book for the young medtech entrepreneurs. I request the Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh, to launch the handbook. Thank you, sir. As many of you are aware that the biodesign process involves identifying the unmet needs, inventing the solutions, and then implementing it. Today, we have two technology transfers where the fellows have implemented their technologies and they are ready for licensing. I now invite Mr. Kaushal Kothari and Mr. Prashant Chauhan from Ripple Healthcare to introduce their product, Hip Pro Plus, very briefly.
Hello, good afternoon. Imagine our loved grandparent lying unconsciously on the floor. Isn't that a frightening visual? Unfortunately, that is a sad reality of more than 300 million elderly worldwide. That is false. Elderly, due to age, medical condition and balance issues, often fall, and due to which they encounter serious traumatic injuries, very particularly hip injuries. So at Triple Healthcare, we have developed a Hip Pro device which will prevent them from falls and protect them from traumatic hip injuries due to fall. So it's a wearable belt which can be worn across the waist and has protective cushions on the sides. The device has sensors at the side on the belt which detects the So the device has sensors on the belt which detects the risk of fall, and based on the risk of fall, it automatically inflates the cushion under a second and stays inflated in case the wearer encounters a misfortunate fall. Also, if a fall is experienced, it also sends the necessary notifications to the caregivers and healthcare provider for further intervention. We call this Hip Pro Plus the device, and through the support of Biodesign program, various schemes of Government of India, we have developed the product, and we are at TRL 5 stage, at MVP stage, and we are doing clearances, ethical approvals from AIIMS New Delhi as well as other hospitals. Thank you. Would love to interact with all of you during our lunch and networking session. If you have any questions, please reach to us. Thank you.
Please stand there. Okay. After second one. Thank you, Kaushal and Prashant. Okay. Now I request Dr. Sandeep Singh, Dr. Deepak Joshi, and his team from SEB Center for transfer of the technology. Dr. Sandeep Singh, sir. पीछे यहाँ पे पीछे ओके प्लीज कम can go there one person each from sir आप आगे आइए. Now I invite Mr. Harikrishnan M. and Rishikesh Wadekar from First Mind Innovations to showcase their product, Remind. Yeah, you can start.
Yeah. Namaste everyone. We are First Mind Innovation. We are 2021 fellow from Biodesign SIB Delhi. So there is over 1.5 crore patients of neuro disability across India, and there are less than 7,000 neurophysiotherapists. So the problem what we tackled is not creating a new therapy, but access to the therapy. So there are so many proven therapy protocols in research, but it never reaches the patient. So what we thought of an idea is to digitalize and virtualize the therapy protocol and provide at patient's home. That is the process we have done. We have using virtual reality to provide neuro rehabilitation at patient's home. Yes. Yeah. Sure. So this device will be provided to the patients at the home with maximum usability we have designed into the software part, and patients just need to wear this device, and therapists can remotely assess the patient, give the virtual reality therapy, because for neuro rehabilitation, functional training is most important part of rehabilitation, and amount of therapy helps in recovery. Yes. Yeah. We have video.
Later.
Yeah.
Time is. Okay. Thank you. Now I invite Dr. Sandeep Singh, Dr. Deepak Joshi and his team for transfer of technology. Thank you. Now we begin with the graduation ceremony and request our honorable chief guest to facilitate the fellows who have completed their course under the Biodesign program. I invite Mr. Kaushal Kothari. आगे Mr. Harikrishnan M. Next. Mr. Rishikesh Wadekar. Mr. Sridhar P. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary DBT, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
Honorable Minister of State with independent charge, Ministry of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Dr. Arvind Sahu, Executive Director, Regional Center of Biotechnology, my colleague Dr. Alka Sharma, Senior Advisor, other colleagues from Department of Biotechnology, from BIRAC, colleagues and directors from BRIC institutions, various members of Biodesign programs, all the mentors and all the fellows actually. Ladies and gentlemen, this is really a wonderful occasion to celebrate actually success of one story and beginning of another story in the era of Department of Biotechnology. I think what we are seeing from Department of Biotechnologies over the years is actually variety of programs that have been initiated which have made tremendous amount of successful adventures in a way that has actually created people, created value and created the organizational spirit that is critical for things to happen. I think this has been possible, sir, because of your visionary leadership. And first of all, I must thank you for taking time today. I know the parliament is going on and you have only 45 minutes to get back to the parliament with the discussion happening on it. But I think, sir, your visionary leadership over the period of time has transformed Department of Biotechnology really to support bioeconomic perspective for the country's future progress, whether it's biomedtech, or whether it is bioagri, or whether it is bio-AI, or whether it is any area associated with biotechnological, is really going to be the transformative for country. So in fact, I'm proud to say the Department of Biotechnology have been given an opportunity by the government to lead the bioeconomy initiative in the G20 meeting in Brazil actually. And this shows the strength and character of Department of Biotechnology, which is not just a funding agency, but it drives programs, ideas, and people, which is actually critical success for the future of our aspect. Also, it was very gratifying to say, sir, it is at the same time in the budget, the new scheme promoting green growth of biomanufacturing and biofoundry has been announced in the budget item actually. And this again is a recognition for department's affairs, sir. Under your leadership, we have been able to achieve some of these very, very significant milestones. I think I should also congratulate the Biodesign fellows and mentors who have been contributing over the years. 2008, when the program was started, it's really at a very fledgling time in the country when medtech innovations almost did not exist. And now we have been happy to say that the instrumentations and various other tools and technologies, including MRI, has started to be manufactured in India. And I think this is something fabulous for us to look at and see, just imagine and be happy about how country is progressing. Obviously, it's also a matter of pride that Biodesign program has attracted global agency like WIPO to partner and sponsor intellectual professionals to innovate in the future of Indian biodesign centers. And it actually shows that it's growing from strength to strength. And that's why we have enhanced and made this Biodesign program even bigger with multiple organizations, multiple people, and we hope to have deep tech technologies coming in future part of the activities to be able to. The second launch today is of a new PhD program. As I said, one is the continuation of a program. The other one is a launch of a new activity of how to create new kind of people, successful stories again. What we call the i3C BRIC-RCB Ph.D. program in Biosciences. This is really again to create the leaders of future in the country who will support this biomanufacturing and bioactivities in the country's progress of the world. The i3C, the acronym, is for Ideate, Immerse, Innovate and Collaborate, which is, according to me, is the new mantra for PhD activities. Very often the PhD is thought to be a training ground for a student themselves, but I think increasingly it is believed that it's an opportunity to contribute to the larger goal of country's mission and activities. And I think that's where this futuristic program is being developed, and the purpose of this program really is to make leaders of future of biotechnological perspective who are actually groomed not just for 5 years, but next 40 years of their careers that will be deterministic for their lives and therefore for the future of the country. In the end, I would just say, sir, one thing: success is often defined as right things are happening at right time. And I believe, sir, in your leadership, this is on time and dream. We all time to dream and deliver. And I think that's what has happened, and we are really grateful for your presence again here today. Thank you very much for all of you joining here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So as sir just mentioned that today we have launch of the i3C BRIC-RCB Ph.D. program, which is a revolutionary step in the capacity building in the country. Now I invite Dr. Arvind Sahu, Executive Director RCB, to shed more light on this program. Dr. Arvind Sahu, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Sir Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Dr. Gokhale ji, Dr. Alka Sharma, directors of our various DBT institutions, the BRIC institutions, ladies and gentlemen. My job today is to introduce you to this program, what this program i3C BRIC-RCB Ph.D. program in Biosciences is all about, and that's what I am going to do. Since we don't have too much time, I'm going to do it very fast in, let's say, next 5 years, so please bear with me. So the idea of this program is to get the large number of students, around 75, in one place so that they are taught, and they are taught in such a way that they can drive innovations and address global health challenges. And the idea is to get around 1,000 PhD students in next 5 years. The components which involve is the advanced course and high-end technology platform training to these students. They will also have to undergo 3 months of the immersion program, which they can do with various NGOs or pharma companies or hospitals, or they can do the field work. And then after this 9 months of training, then they will go to different BRIC institutions or the RCB or ICGEB. So let's see who is eligible for this program. As we can guess that the master students of the life sciences are obviously eligible for this. But apart from that, the BE, BTech and MBBS and also the 4 years BS students will also be eligible for this. Apart from this, the BTech and BE from the non-biological sciences will also be eligible for this, which is something, a new start in this direction, which sir had suggested, and we have incorporated that, sir. So there will be 2 tracks of admission. The track 1 is the students having national fellowships, such as the DBT BET or CSR NET or UGC NET or ICMR GRF or similar such 5 years fellowships, and these will be eligible. And track 2 is the G.N. Ramachandran Fellowship, which has been instituted specifically to get the BTech and BE from non-biological sciences and also the MBBS students, and they will be provided higher fellowships. After the one which I talked about is also the 3 months immersion program. This 3 months immersion program, which they are going to do out to really learn the ground realities of India, they will be provided a handsome grant of 1.5 lakhs for 3 months, which is supported by the Grand Challenges of India. So thank you so much for that. The application process, of course, as I said, there will be 2 tracks. So track 1 will intake about 70 students in 1 year, and track 2 will intake around 10 students. The track 1 will have to go through 2 interviews, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 will be online and stage 2 will be offline. That will happen in the biocluster, the RCB campus and the THSTI campus. And this is going to be somewhere around June. Their intake will start. So June, they will be interviewed. For the track 2, there will be a separate examination, which is be followed by the interviews, and that's how they will get selected. And these will be then, once they undergo through 6 months and 3 months of immersion program, they will go to respective institution of their choice. So they will have to undergo during 6 months compulsory courses, which is mandated by the UGC. But they will also have several elective courses, right? And they can choose any one of them to get the 3 credit. Apart from that, they can also take, in spite of these, the online courses which will be offered, and they will also be offered the fractal courses. So this is something which is very new and first time which is going to happen, which the Secretary, Department of Biotechnology wanted, and this has his idea, his brainchild to have these fractal courses. The high-end instrumentation course, this will be in the ATPC or the Advanced Technology Platform Center in RCB, which is, which has all the high-end instrumentations. And this will be done in a workshop mode. So it won't be just a demonstration or some kind of class, but they will get the theory as well as hands-on. So each module will be something like 15 days where they can work and really get the hands-on. So once they are out of this, and this will be every single afternoon, about 4 hours, right? So they will undergo this rigorous training and hands-on. And they will be evaluated in an annual conclave. So third year and the fifth year students will present their work, and this will vary depending, it will keep changing in different BRIC institutions. And they can have the research posters, or they can have regular talks or the flash talks, and the other students can join them online and listen to this. Now, of course, as you can see, there will be 15 different DBT institutions who are part of this, and therefore they will be offered various fields which they can choose from, right? And they can choose the field they like, and they can choose the institution they like, and they will go there and work on this. So with this, I stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now we have a short video on i3C BRIC Ph.D. program.
Today signifies the inception of a new era in the history of Indian biotechnology research and education. A momentous occasion as the Department of Biotechnology proudly introduces the i3C BRIC-RCB Ph.D. program in Biosciences, epitomizing ideation, immersion, innovation, and collaboration. Uniting 13 esteemed institutions of the Biotechnology Research and Innovation Council with the Regional Center for Biotechnology and the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology. A journey that promises to redefine the landscape of biotechnology research and innovation in India, propelling us towards unparalleled heights of excellence. Recently, the Department of Biotechnology orchestrated a historic symphony by unifying 13 autonomous institutes under its aegis, birthing the Biotechnology Research and Innovation Council, BRIC.
As we all know, under Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, the nation has embarked on a journey in the field of biotechnology, a sector that was hitherto either underexplored or unexplored. But in recent times it has started expanding rapidly, progressing in leaps and bounds, and appears to be growing larger and larger in the foreseeable future. You would agree with me that the age of working in silos is over, and therefore through intertwining and through interdisciplinary research projects, we could encourage collaboration and find solutions to meet the national as well as the global challenges, which would ultimately place India's science and technology on the world stage. And therefore, immersive programs like i3C BRIC-RCB Ph.D. is expected to create a cadre of forward-looking researchers, research workers, research scholars who could supplement India's efforts, India's endeavor in global advancement as far as the area of biotechnology is concerned.
This visionary initiative aims to establish a centralized governance mechanism, fostering multidisciplinary cutting-edge research and nurturing collaboration between academia, healthcare institutions, and industry to provide bioscience-based pioneering solutions to contemporary problems relevant nationally and globally. BRIC-RCB, a beacon of excellence in providing world-class education, training and research, has been pivotal in shaping the future of biotechnology. Now, in collaboration with i3C, it aspires to offer an immersive, competitive, interdisciplinary education and research program, the i3C BRIC-RCB Ph.D. program in Biosciences.
This is an excellent opportunity for younger people to embark upon their careers in the field of biosciences and biotechnology. PhD is not just a training ground for a challenging and rewarding career, but it is also a means to produce rigorous, relevant research that influences society. And therefore, we want each one of the students to go out in the field, expose themselves to a variety of challenges and problems faced by the people, and derive questions from there, come back to the lab and innovate, and through collaborations try to resolve these bigger challenges and problems.
This interdisciplinary PhD program promises to be a life-changing journey for young minds. Alongside a unique course curriculum, the program envisions providing high-end platform technology, training to engage scholars in the latest advancements of modern biotechnology, a special 3-month on-field immersion program, supported by Grand Challenges India, has been designed to gain first-hand experience of challenges and problems, deriving motivation to address them through collaborative research in i3C and DBT institutions.
As the founder of Persistent Systems, I've had a ringside view of the growth of the IT industry. When I started the business in 1990, the IT industry was barely $30 million. Today, it's in excess of $300 billion. The kind of growth we saw in the IT industry, I think we have a similar opportunity in the bio and biotechnology and the bioeconomy. And that's why I'm so excited to be part of BRIC. I'm really delighted to share that the BRIC has set up a PhD program where we want to bring in students from all different kinds of backgrounds, different entry points, and create a really truly interdisciplinary international degree where you can build out a 40-year career in biotechnology. And this will provide you the grounding and the necessary expertise that you need to get this to happen.
The program will also induct and provide opportunities for non-biologists to undertake this PhD program through special fellowships. A yearly conclave has also been planned, where scholars and supervisors from i3C institutions unite to showcase their innovation through posters and presentations. Ladies and gentlemen, today we unveil not just a program, but a catalyst for transformative change in the realm of biotechnology. Welcome to the i3C BRIC-RCB Ph.D. program in Biosciences, where vision converges with innovation and knowledge molds the future. Join us in this extraordinary journey of ideation, immersion, innovation, and collaboration.
I request the Honorable Minister to launch the i3C BRIC PhD program. Directors. Thank you, sir. Now I invite our Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Minister, Dr. Jitendra Singh, to bless us with his words of wisdom. Sir, please.
Secretary DBT, Dr. Gokhale, Dr. Sahu, Dr. Alka Sharma, directors from various institutes, members of the faculty. I was told initially it was planned over there in the institute, so I have to apologize. Also thank you for having adjusted with my constraints, because I was hard pressed for time. The parliament going on, we just have a bill also today. But having said that, I think I need to compliment Dr. Rajesh and the team, and Dr. Rajesh in particular, because ever since he's joined, he's taken a number of initiatives which apparently sounded pleasant and also not so pleasant, and yet he could move on uneventfully. One of them being the integration of these 13 institutes. And when this suggestion came for the first time, and all of us thought that we were working separately in silos, not knowing what was happening in the next room. And I think it was most intensely realized during the COVID times. Each one of us in a separate room developing a ventilator. So I told him it was just like serving a thali, and there are 4 cooks sitting all around, you don't know what is being served. So we thought we could avoid this overlap. Also we could pool in our resources, and even otherwise the age of working in silos is over, and if you have to move on from here, that's my considered view, we cannot without integrating, and there's no option. If we don't opt for that course right now, we would be forced to do so, and we would have lost that time. As you see now, I think I was laughing in the heart of hearts when most of the job that our cardiologists should be doing was being done by the IT experts. So, and we have actually also started practicing. We have, in fact, mine is possibly the first constituency where I initiated that experiment of having a telemedicine mobile clinic, which we have associated with certain hospitals in Hyderabad, Bengaluru. And we have 2 or 3 youngsters sitting over there, none of them doctors. And they can provide the prescription to the patient within a course of just about 40-45 minutes. And which otherwise in the corporate sector would cost several thousands. Of course, this is a good health startup avenue as well, but of course we are doing it out of philanthropy. Well, what I'm trying to say is that if you don't integrate, you won't be able to accomplish that too. So they are able to prepare the entire profile, including all the cardiac profile, and communicate it to the concerned cardiologist or nephrologist or whoever be the specialist, and get back with the prescription. The only fallout of that is that if Dr. Singh happens to see one of his patients, he would not be able to recognize him. So, in fact, I asked Naresh that day, I said, if you come across a patient whom you have operated, can you recognize him? He said, don't pull my leg. So, but now we can't help it, that is the kind of technology we have to adopt with. I mean, when I was in the medical school, we were asked to watch the patient right from the moment he entered into the room. So watching his gait, watching and making a diagnosis even before he took a seat. But it's now the other way around. So I'm glad that we have tried to keep pace with that, and particularly our generation, which was not actually used to it, it's a learning experience for us too. And therefore, as Dr. Sahu was saying, last time I said, if we have to integrate, we have to integrate in an extended manner. So let's also have the IITs and the BTechs included in this PhD course. Now, feeling encouraged that he's considerate enough to listen to everything or follow everything that the minister says, usually it's not done, because they feel the minister is usually half educated, so he has said for the sake of it and we can take a different view. But I'm glad if he's done so. That has encouraged me to make another suggestion this afternoon. The next time you could also include the IIM. And I have done that because I got an MOU signed by the CSIR. Dr. Kalai Selvi, I suggested to her a wider integration, MOU which is not a bilateral, it's a multilateral MOU. So you have an IIT part of that, an AIMS, an IIM, and a postgraduate medical institute. and of course the CSIR. Because when I went to one of the labs there, I found that they were working on a drug-resistant tuberculosis option. And just 3 kilometers away, they had a medical institute. So I said, have you got in touch with them? He said, no, we have no interaction. So I sat there, waited for the dean to come, requested the dean from the medical to come. She was, I mean, at a short notice, took her some time, but she did come. So I then requested, I said, can we have a greater integration, not only at the level of the projects or the research, but also at the academic level? So she said, what precisely would you like to have? I said, can we have a joint thesis? Now, for example, Dr. Singh knows we have dissertation in DM, we have thesis in MD. So the UGC guideline is that you have to have guide from the parent institute, you can have co-guide from the other institute. So we could have that. In fact, we have already started with that Brain Institute in Manesar, because they had an MOU with AIMS, but the MOU was limited to the extent that the neurologists would visit there, get back, exchange inputs. But why not exchange the students as well? Because that makes it more institutionalized and creates a kind of a legacy. And I'm glad in the last 2 years we have pharmacology thesis, MD pharmacology of medicos with co-guide from CSIR. And I'm now looking forward to have that practice even in the general medicine. So this was actually the idea of having this multidisciplinary PhD courses, because as I think she was saying, that you produce graduates who are unemployed. So to get over that ugly scene of having uneducated PhDs and to have postgraduates but not scholars. You could have even PhDs without being researchers. In fact, the earlier, and that is now coupled with the new education policy. We have an opportunity to get over that kind of a contradiction. In fact, I remember many years back, the president of the IMA was Dr. Ramamurthy, one of the very famous orthopedic surgeons, first generation orthopedic surgeons after independence, no more now. He said, we are producing hundreds of medical graduates every year, but how many doctors? So, same is the case with the PhDs. You have a PhD in every house who is unemployed, jobless, not even scholar. And then being children of the same society, you have that peer competition. You know the other guy, without being a PhD, is riding in that big car. And you say, hell with all this, hell with this startup. And that takes you to the next issue of having sustainable startups. And therefore, this multidisciplinary approach overcomes all those pitfalls. And that's why I said, and the new education policy, luckily, which should have happened much earlier, NEP 2020, gives us a room to have that kind of approach. It has an exit entry. It doesn't make you prisoner of the subject that you chose for yourself. So by default maybe. And then you want to change it by aptitude, by convenience, or by the changing milieu. So in that kind of, I think this is one of the, and I'm glad that Dr. Rajesh is among the first to have adopted this kind of an approach, and he also among the first to have integrated all these institutes into one single umbrella. I just told him, I said, let none of the directors feel that their stature is being compromised, because that might create a little heartburning. So let them be all independent, just reporting to one nodal office, so that we could. And now with CSIR, we practiced one lab, 1 week program for 1 year. It's gone on very well. It's given CSIR visibility in the society and also integrated them among themselves. You see, because what was happening is we have 37 institutes. For each stream, we have 2 or 3 institutes working on almost a common lines, but they don't integrate. For example, if you have a Roma and the agri sector, you have the Palampur Institute, you have the Jammu Institute, you have the Mysore one, but the millet one which is doing. So what you don't actually, they were not even integrating with each other. So that has enabled them to showcase to each other. And same, I think, I was talking to Dr. Rajesh, we would have here also 1 month or 1 fortnight, you said? 1 month, 1 institute. So each of the director has the opportunity to showcase himself to the others, to his counterparts as well as to the rest of the society. And later on, the next stage, because the ministers keep changing, but the secretary remains the same, I think next year he would follow it up, which I told Dr. Kalai Selvi also. One theme, you will have not one institute, you will have one fortnight, one theme. And as one theme you integrate. That could be an institute from biotechnology, an institute from CSIR, an institute also elsewhere. Could be an IIT as well. If they are working on a ventilator and you are working on a vaccine, you could. So we could have theme-wise showcasing. To begin with, showcasing institute-wise, so that we get to others to know us. Because so far, it sometimes pains me, so many years have passed by because this initiative was never taken. So we kept, working in anonymity. So first stage, and they have completed 1 year round, CSIR. So now the others know them, they also know them. And second would be theme, because we have to have now theme-based projects. Otherwise, again, as we saw in COVID, a single project of, I think the COVID vaccine was hundreds and hundreds of projects. And that also sometimes leads to, I would not say pilferage, but maybe not optimum use of resources, because pilferage is not a very kind word. So having said that, and I think this is also one of the better times for that. Though not the best times, the best is yet to come, and these youngsters are lucky, they are going to be part of those best times. And this is better times, as I say, for science and more so for biotechnology, because till a few years ago, nobody knew what is biotechnology. And I remember about, I think in the 90s, I got associated with the Department of Biotechnology. I just wanted to learn for myself about the genome work that they were doing. And I had to explain to people whether it was engineering or medicine. It was technology or biology. And nobody can figure out how. So now that people have, thanks to vaccine, thanks to COVID, that doesn't mean that you have to have another bout of another epidemic of COVID, but COVID came as a great blessing to you, and made you familiarize what is all about, and that also has given a big boost to our biotech startups, which you had just 50, now you have 6,000, and luckily the present political leadership under the present Prime Minister is also favorably inclined. For the first time, at our suggestion, they were able to organize a biotech expo. I said, why not have an exclusive? Because now we are in a super specialized era. And we could get the Honorable Prime Minister there. And it turned out to be very successful. We have learned quite a bit from that. We had a 3 days event. I said, next time when we have an event, we had a startup showcasing also. Next time we would make it mandatory. Each of the, we had conducted tours of schools and colleges. So that's part of our public outreach, which we have started, at least in CSIR. We'll replicate it here also. So next time, 1 day reserved for conducted tours, but with the condition that every child or every student has to be accompanied with one parent. It sounds a little unusual, but yeah, there's a reason for that, because what you counsel to the youngster gets uncounseled by the parent. So let both of them come. The success story of the startup being narrated simultaneously. So we are learning from each of these experiences, because I personally feel very fascinated. In fact, I envy these youngsters, because I didn't have that kind of a privilege or an opportunity when we were their generation. So I tell them sometimes, I said, it's a very enviable period for the youth of India. You have so much. We were prisoners of aspiration. You have aspiration in plenty, you don't know where to put it in. So that is your dilemma. So you need to be streamlined, because your parents put in, and your guide elsewhere. Secondly, as far as and this could also be a lucrative source of livelihood, a new genre of health startups. And that could also liberate us from the thought that startup is only IT. In fact, I was talking to a group, I think that was just yesterday. I was telling them, no, I took it upon ourselves about 2 years back to vindicate this, because we have to work with evidence, all of us being students of science. And we have evidently proved this Aroma mission, which was showcased in the Republic Day tabloid. We have so far succeeded in producing about 3,000 agri startups, a new genre. And many of them, if not many, more at least 20%, 25, may not be even graduates. And I told them, no, this is the vindication. Startup does not mean you have to be an IIT and you have to be a PhD. So it is better to be an employed, lucrative livelihood, non-graduate startup than to be an unemployed PhD. I'm sure, but that will be the choice most of you would make. And many of them, but they have the aptitude. We could identify aptitude. We gave them the technical and the knowledge support, the financial support, and most importantly, we had the market linkage right from day one. So 3 success stories in science which have given India a frontline position, which were also incidentally showcased in Republic Day. I think for the first time we had 2 travelers, one from ISRO and one from CSI. I was telling some of these our colleagues also, I said we should learn a lesson that they were success because we had, and I've been saying that important is to have industry linkage from day one. We have mutual skepticism. The industry thinks those sitting in the government are all bribe takers and bribe, not givers, takers. And we think the entire industry is thieves. But we don't realize the thieves and the bribe takers have to move on together. Same bus, same train, if you have to reach the destination. So you have to get used to each other. And none of them is as bad as you think of each other. COVID was successful because they had an MOU right from beginning with that Bharat Biocom. This aroma was successful because they had tied up with the perfume industry in Maharashtra. Simultaneously, distillation process started. The technical support started. The moment these boys started, developing those products, small bottles of perfume were selling for as much as 15,000 or so. And that gave them sustenance. And the third story of your ISRO is successful because it was liberated for private participation. Industry, in just about 8 months of the current year, beginning from 1st April to 31st December, we have had an investment of 1,000 crore private in ISRO, where they were always starved of funds. They didn't have funds even to afford a decent commuting for themselves. Suddenly so I think that so that is why next time when we have this, and we could also have now the era of the lateral exchanges. We could have the industrialists also involved in this exercise. We could have a certain amount of criteria how to engage them in these courses and in these exercises. And the G20, you would have recalled, the Prime Minister took the initiative of Global Bio Alliance. So that is one great booster for this department as far as the government circles are concerned. Because the government usually doesn't talk about biotechnology, but here is a government which is talking at the highest fora. And even the current budget, as Dr. Rajesh was saying, the finance minister mentioned about having a biomanufacturing, and we are already one of the first 5. So I think, as I said, the better times are there, best is yet to come, and it is up to us how best we can make of it. So with that, I am sure we'll move on to the next level from where we are today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Gokhale to present a shawl to the chief guest. I request Dr. Richi Mahajan to give vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Department of Biotechnology, it is my privilege to express my sincerest gratitude to Dr. Jitendra Singh Ji, Minister of State, Independent Charge for Ministry of Science and Technology, Minister of State for Prime Minister's Office, Personal Public Grievance and Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Science, who despite his very busy schedule, kindly consented to be the chief guest today. Sir, your gracious presence and inspiring words always motivate us to set the new examples of excellence in biological research and innovation. I would also like to thank Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale Gokhale, Secretary DBT, who has not only been steering all DBT activities and i3C activities, but also constantly providing us strong support and encouragement. We assure you, sir, that under your able management, we'll be able to achieve new frontiers of success. I express our gratitude to Dr. Alka Sharma, Senior Advisor DBT. Madam, you have led from the front to make this event a success. Your continuous support will be of paramount for driving both these programs forward. I would also like to thank Dr. Arvind Sahu, Executive Director RCB, for his generous efforts and unstinted support for this event as well as the initiative. I express my thanks to Sri Chaitanya Murthy, Joint Secretary, Government of India, for his constant support during the departmental activities and i3C activities. I express my thanks to Dr. Kalaivani Ganesan, Scientist of DBT, for her zealous and untiring efforts for taking both these DBT activities forward. Many thanks to Team RCB and Team THSTI for all the logistics supports. I would also like to place on record our deep appreciations for members of press for their presence and providing us coverage of the event. In the last, I would like to place on record our sincere thanks to senior officials of Ministry of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, directors of i3C institutions, officials from BIRAC, experts from industry and leading academia institutions, and present everyone here and online who have joined us for the event. Thank you, everyone. On behalf of the department, after the departure of Honorable Minister, I invite you everybody for the lunch at the same event. Thank you.